Píše se rok 1933. Prezidentem Spojených států je Franklin Delano Roosevelt a starostou Chicaga je Antonín Čermák. Právě započala výstavba mostu Golden Gate a život, zničený velkou hospodářskou krizí, se konečně začíná zlepšovat. To však ale není vše. V tomto roce se také narodila jedna úžasná dáma. Toto je Mary, máma mé dobré kamarádky. A dnes bude vzpomínat na své dětství před druhou světovou válkou.
Can you tell me who was your dad and who was your mom?
My dad was very strict. His background was more German. He had, I believe it was 8 brothers and sisters all together in that family. My mother was more from England. My dad was more a farmer. Other people in our little town had a lot of farmland and dairy and stuff like that. We had several dairy cows and we had horses, and we were taught at an early age to ride. Haven't done much of that out here. We had several cows. I got to see, which was not supposed to have happened, but I got to see a baby calf be born. I wasn't supposed to be in the barn at the time because my dad thought that was too much for us. My mom was, she really had to take care of a lot of us. Not only did she take care of all the house, and she taught us, the two of us girls, how to take care of things. I loved to do the gardening. We had big gardens. The farm was, on one side was 40 some acres. It was good size. And on another side, my dad had bought 5 acres in one spot.
How was America, or let's be more specific, United States, or even more specific, Missouri, the state where you are from, back then? Because people, I think, they have that idea that US was just a country where you just came from the old continent and you just made it. It was easy. I would like to ask you a few questions that will determine if it's true or not. So, your mom had a lot of kids. It was a full-time job to take care of all of them. Mm-hmm. How did she does their laundry? By hands, right?
Right. We had, you can still get the boards.
Yeah.
When we were old enough, we were trained to take over the jobs. Mm-hmm. And that didn't mean that my mom quit. That just meant she had help. If I went back today where my sister is, even in Big Springfield, she probably could show you some of that.
Yeah, of course, because those little towns, they are keeping those original traditions for way longer than the big cities. All right, so that must be pretty exhausting.
It hurts your knuckles, it hurts your hands, but we do it, and you get used to it. Mm-hmm. And we had our duties to do before we went to school. I got in trouble when I would milk the cows because I had long nails, and I wasn't supposed to be milking that way. But I did waste some milk because the cows don't like you to pinch them when you're squeezing the milk out. Mm-hmm. And the boys would always take squeeze it into their mouth. And besides, they probably liked the warm milk, and I didn't. I liked my milk cold, cooled off. You know, it was common to get up at 4 in the morning. And you do the milking. My dad would only occasionally let me do it. We walked a long ways to school. My dad would take us in the wagon with the horses and everything, and he had made a tent over the high up over if it was raining, things like that, and then he would take us. Otherwise,
how long was the distance to school?
Oh, to school, at least 2.5 miles, but sometimes more, depending on which school.
Yeah, where you live.
Yeah, my dad would take us in the wagon the first couple of times. Our first 3 years, we had to cross the river. A lot of times my two older brothers would make a way. They would put big rocks.
So your older brothers figured out the way how to transfer their all other siblings across the river so you all can go to the school.
Yeah. When I was in our 6th grade on, we had moved, and the river we had to cross was pretty deep. And there was a low bridge at one place, so we had a lot of times it was hard for us to get to school. My mom, I'm glad she didn't see some of the things that we walked across.
Sure.
She would be passed out.
Did you have electricity at your house when you were growing up?
We did have when my dad put it in. My dad, I guess when I think back, I think like nothing he couldn't do.
So you had no electricity, you had to walk long distance to school. That doesn't look to me nothing different from my country back then. It looks the same.
Yeah.
You know, hard work, and you only had what you earned, nothing else.
Yeah, he did electricity for people also. He you name whatever he could do, and he just did it. And so we eventually had electricity at home.
So what is your first memory, like in your life? First memory. I know you already told me when you were riding that horse, but I just want you to repeat it if you can.
With my dad holding me on the horse. Yeah, and then I think my sister probably still has a picture. I'm going to ask her today.
Where your family earned the money? Did you sell the products from your farm, or those products were just for your own needs?
No, we always had enough for us and to sell. With the cattle, there was no way we could have used all the milk and everything, so we sold it in the big metal cans, tall cans. You could sell it with and without the cream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cream is more expensive.
Yeah.
How did you get shoes? Did you buy them, or your father made them too?
They made some things, and then we bought when we could. We would buy at least a pair for the winter and a pair for the summer.
How about the coats? Did you make the coats?
The coats, yeah. We made basically everything. My mother could sew anything. We grew also a lot of corn. Both of us girls were, as soon as we were old enough, then we helped can it. We had big cookers we had a cellar usually wherever we lived, because cyclones, or we go there more than once. We would take the husk, and we used to make shoes out of
that.
We thought it was great. We made so many pair of sandals.
Out of the corn.
Yeah, because otherwise we didn't buy like sandals and things like that.
I'm assuming you had the shoes just to go to school and back, right?
Yeah.
You didn't really use them like around the house, did you?
At the house?
Around the house.
We didn't need them if it was summertime.
You were saving them for like, so they could.
Yeah,
smaller,
so we
right?
could, yeah. And
That's interesting. So did you go to school Monday to Friday?
Friday, definitely. It rain or shine. We'd come home soaking sometimes. High school, we were too far away, and we took a bus, a big school bus, and stopped at different areas to pick up kids.
How about your parents when it comes to education? Were they able to write and read?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? That wasn't,
Yeah,
that wasn't
my-
like a common thing back then, was it?
Dad could read and write.
And how about your mom?
My mom,
She was able to read and write too?
yeah.
Nice.
She went through school in 9th grade, I think. My dad was very educated. I would consider them both quite educated.
So even when you were going to school 5 times a week, 2 miles each way across the river and stuff, I'm assuming you were very thankful for the thing that you can actually go and learn, right?
Yeah, I sometimes more than once, my family, even from a very early age, had to get me out of a locked room because I wasn't going to go home because I didn't want school to be over. And that was when I was like they would have in like, it would be called kindergarten here, you know. And then when I was in 1st grade, my dad had to sometimes take us to school to get us across the river. He was very kind with me. He didn't punish me for it, but I locked myself up more than once and then didn't know how I was going to get out of there.
1st grade, if I count right, 1st grade is 1939. That's when 2nd World War started. Can you tell me how your school looked like back then? Did you use the ink to like write, that you had to like, you had to dip
No.
into the ink?
No, we
How did you write?
with pencils and pen.
Oh, you had a pencil already?
I think I can't remember for sure when I've had the first pen. I'll have to.
How many classmates you had? Like how big was the class?
Classmates? Sometimes 30.
And were they all same age?
It depends on what area it was. We may have gone like grades 1 through 3, and then there was a time when it went 1 through 4.
I just want to make it clear. I was more referring to having let's say 30 kids in the same class, and not all of them being at the same age.
Oh, yeah. In my grade school, usually it would be the first 4 grades.
Together.
Yeah. And then later on, you could go maybe 2 grades.
4 and 5th, yeah.
It was really negative if anybody didn't finish 8th grade. Then it came a time when we could go 1 through 9. Our school had a negative person angry with one of the teachers, and he shot a rifle into our schoolroom. We were separated by 2 kids in a seat, okay?
Yeah.
And so where I'm sitting, my girlfriend is on the outside, and she got shot right now. The person who shot was her uncle. She had to be treated for years, but she survived. They got the bullet out of her chest, and it shot straight into the classroom, and it hit his.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was my another question. I wanted to ask you if it was very common back then, in the 30s and 40s, that let's say your father would own a guns, because they live in the middle of Missouri.
I probably still have a gun in here.
I know it's legal, but
but
back then.
yeah, we always had a rifle, and usually a shotgun.
Did your father leave the house with the gun when he was going to the field or something? Protection from, I don't know, animals?
Sometimes my dad would have the rifle. We were taught to shoot. My two older brothers liked me to go with them. You know, they liked me to tag along. That was okay. I got taught some things that I wouldn't have got taught otherwise.
From your dad.
And
how much were you familiar with the world around you, or with world in general? Because, I mean, no internet, no library, really.
Yeah.
Only the information they told you at school, right?
And I had every book I could find.
Yeah, but even then, like if I would tell you,
yeah.
Can you imagine how ocean looked like? You have never seen it. You have never seen.
I know.
You have never seen anything. So you would not be able to imagine it. Am I correct?
We had battery radio.
Oh, yeah, the battery radio.
Yeah, my dad's sister gave us a radio. I can remember my mom treasuring the radio that she got. It was just, you know, like gold.
How common was a meat for you to have? It was an everyday thing, was it?
We could have meat every day if we wanted.
You could?
We could, because depending on what my dad sold and what they killed to keep for us, and we had a cellar.
No processed foods whatsoever, right?
And I don't remember having any. We had
no soda.
No, we always had milk at every meal.
Oh, milk with every meal. Interesting.
Yeah.
How about the cheese?
Cheese?
Mm-hmm.
We had cheese. My mom would cottage cheese, and we'd hang it out on the line. Did you do that?
Yeah.
And, yeah, hanging it out on the line and let it drip dry.
So you were pretty much self-efficient, right?
Pretty much, because we rarely ever went to the store for anything.
Did you ever see that your brothers would complain to your dad that they don't want to do some job, or they don't want to go to school, or they just did whatever was needed to do?
I think they probably just did whatever we needed, and I was the one that was always wanting to climb the trees. Anything they did, I wish we could do it over again.
Thank you very much for talking to me. I'm glad that you have experienced the life that is worth to talk about, and also I hope that our viewers will like that. We can see that America back then was completely different than it is right now.
Yeah.
You had nothing without the hard work. You couldn't complain. You had to wake up early. You had to do multiple jobs, and that was it. It wasn't any better than elsewhere on the planet. Besides, some places were hit by a war, way more than here. But the life for the individual people were still hard, and they still had to work.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We had to.
You know, I love you.
I love you
and
too.
If you want to hear other stories, just write it down to the comments, show us some love, and maybe we will sit down again and do some other talk anytime soon.
Yeah, you can come here every day. I just feel like you're part of my family.
Because I know you long time, you know? And you are always so nice to me.
Yeah, I don't want you to leave. So now that you're part of the family, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
You can eat the grass.